Hello, everybody, and welcome to Power of Africa Conference 2023. Thank you for registering, and we hope that you're going to get to learn and have a great time. This year's theme is The Future is Africa. My name is Tess Waka from Kenya. I'm a radio presenter, an event organizer, and an advertising consultant. I love traveling, and I'm happy today that we're going to have a conversation on tourism and travel. And our topic this particular session will be our topic this particular session will be on optimizing tourism and travels in Africa, pathways to drive sustainable investments and commercial value. We're looking forward to your inputs and just being part of this conversation. Amazing panelists that are joining in on this particular session. I'm super excited to just get to meet from different countries, and we're going to learn from a lot of them. All right, over to our first panelist, Abigail. How are you doing, Abigail? And welcome to Power of Africa Conference.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm doing very well. I believe you're doing well as yourself. My name is Abigail Olagbaye from Nigeria. I am the CEO of Desigo Tourism Development and Facilities Management, a destination management company. I'm also the chairperson for Sayari Junior Sustainable Tourism Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. We're looking forward to getting to hear from you and just get to learn from your experience. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, over to our second panelist, Mr. Emmanuel. It's good to see you, sir, and welcome to Power of Africa Conference 2023.
Good to see you too, Tess. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. My name is Emmanuel Frimpong. I live in Accra, Ghana, and I'm the CEO of Patient Consult and also the founding president of African Tourism Research Network. It's a great joy and honor to be here, learn, and also share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Looking forward to interacting with you. Well, we're going to dig right in, and our topic today is optimizing tourism and travels in Africa, pathways to drive sustainable investments and commercial value. And I'm just going to throw this question to you, Abigail. You've mentioned a lot that you're doing and not just one thing. And I like that you're also focusing a lot on Africa. So what are some of the challenges you would share with us today and the risks to the development of tourism in Africa?
All right, thanks, Tess. Risks to the development of African tourism. It ranges from, leadership, from governance, from destination management, from how MSMEs are either supported or not supported, how they are financed. Do they have access to finance? Do they have access to markets? And also with regards to destination, destinations and the tourism products. How innovative are the products? How attractive are the products? It's an important area we need to look at, especially post-COVID, because of the impacts that the COVID-19 had on the tourism sector. According to a report by World Bank, comparing 2019 and 2020 figures, it reported that the tourism sector suffered a setback by 73%, one of the highest amongst all the sectors. So, post-COVID, it's such a very relevant area that is, investment, tourism investment, and of course, sustainable tourism investments, is one of the areas that, the industry must pay attention to, very crucial attention to. Other areas of challenges, include capacity building for tourism businesses. If we look at how many jobs were lost, of course, another report by the World Bank, claims that about 100 to 120 million jobs were lost during the COVID-19. So coming back from such a debilitating pandemic, one must begin to look at how to reskill, retool, MSMEs, how to empower them. So these are some of the challenges. It's inexhaustive. These are some of the challenges that the tourism and travel industry is facing, in Africa. I mean, there are issues with connectivity. There are issues with, visa restrictions, accessibility, and what have you. So these are, and as we talk about these issues, we need the government support, in terms of policy implementation, and all that, to be able to ensure that, the issues that are raised are looked at, and, there are solutions, that are implemented.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Indeed, we cannot fail to mention the effects of the pandemic on many sectors, not just tourism. And it's going to take a while for us to be able to just get back. But I'm sure we have all the time. Thank you for that, Abigail. Emmanuel, I just want to ask on the role of the communities when attracting tourism investment. What is the role of the community, and what should it play to ensure that we attract tourism, especially in the area of investment? Emmanuel, you need to unmute your mic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tess. When you look at the African continent and the way land ownership is set up, most African countries, land ownership is by families and by communities. And if you talk about tourism, we have historical tourism, we have our natural tourism, we have our cultural tourism, which most of them is also owned by families, communities, and rural areas. Now, if you are looking at investment, of course, you cannot talk about investment without looking at the role that the communities or traditional leaders will play. But unfortunately, most of our traditional leaders, or in most African countries, we have always seen tourism as a foreigner's business. I don't want to use a white man's business, or somebody coming from somewhere to visit our country, to have a holiday, to enjoy themselves, or to come and have a business conference, and then they go. So we have not seen tourism as our own. Therefore, you see domestic tourism not really thriving in Africa. So for us to attract investment, community and opinion leaders must be involved. How do we get them involved? They should understand that tourism is business. And as a business, they should know how business is run. And therefore, if somebody wants to invest in my community, for instance, somebody wants to build an international hotel in my community or in my area, I should not charge the person the way I would charge someone who is building a private house. I should know that a person is coming in to invest in my community. And by building a hotel, what do I get? I get my subject or the people in the community to be employed. I get them to be trained. There is also linkages whereby these hotels will support other services by establishing in that community. So community head or community leaders should understand tourism in that sense. Therefore, when anybody makes any effort to invest in my community, I should relax the way I charge. I should also do certain things to attract investment into my community. But I can only do that when, as a community leader, I understand how tourism works. And recently, or for the past few years, we are talking about sustainable tourism, we are talking about ecotourism, and we are talking about community or rural tourism. These are tourism that is community related, community encouraged, community motivated. Therefore, we should bring community together to understand how tourism is worked, how tourism is initiated, how tourism is implemented in our communities. Therefore, we will be able to get people to be attracted to our communities. We should also look at our festivals. Most festivals are not done in cities. Festivals are naturally done in communities. How is festivals done? Do we do it as a commercial festival, or we only focus on festival within our communities? How do we even market those festivals? How do we market?
I think we lost Emmanuel. He was mentioning on how do we market such in the community, and communities, you and me.
When communities are involved.
He's back. We lost you there, Emmanuel.
Yes. So community is extremely important in building tourism.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. The place of community is key. It's key in that, and we each have a role to play in the different communities that we have been placed in. All right. I want to just pose another question to you, Abigail. There's so much that you've mentioned that you're doing, and I just would want you to share a bit on what you, as an entrepreneur, as a tourism agent as well, and all the things that you mentioned you're doing. What is it, or what would you consider to be some of the tourism and travel opportunities in Africa? You're muted. Need to unmute your mic. There we go.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tess. Thank you so much for that question. Tourism opportunities, travel and tourism opportunities in the sector, they're enormous. And, I almost don't know what point exactly to begin, because when you talk about Africa, Africa offers endless opportunities. Talk about, what we are all, I mean, if you consider the fact that when the race against time with regards to sustainability, climate action, and all that, there is this school of thought that Africa is Africa would present to the world about 30% of global minerals that we need, that the world needs rather. That is on the minerals aspect. But in terms of travel and tourism, look at our safaris, look at our destinations. The opportunities are there, but we're here today to critically examine the aspect of investments, the aspect of how do we connect businesses with finance. How do we connect entrepreneurs with finance? How do we connect them with markets, to drive the right traffic to the destinations? So these are issues that are very germane when it comes to travel and tourism. I want to talk about the, tourism product innovation, for instance. We must begin to, I mean, when the Mr. Emmanuel, the last speaker, was speaking, he talked about, do we see festivals as, as a business or just as a community event? We must begin to scale and have a more appreciable value for our tourism products. Apart from innovating, we must see those products as income generating products. We must market them as such. We must package and repackage them, as such that they can attract different markets. We have to look at niche markets. We have to look at consumer behavior. What is it that tourists would love to have on destinations? Tourists now are into experiences. Tourists are into safety, security when it comes to health, right, and sanitation and all those things. So these are issues that we have to be deliberate about. So the aspect of being deliberately developing our tourism, deliberately marketing our tourism, deliberately packaging our products, in a way that we know that tourists would be attracted to visit our destinations. So these are issues that are very important, that we must not take with levity.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you've mentioned that the opportunities are there, but then we also need to grow and develop those opportunities. Not just to say, yeah, we have all these opportunities, so we're good. No, we need to keep growing them and developing
So
them. And that's what you're mentioning, all those. Thank you so much, Abigail. Now, Emmanuel, you mentioned the place of community in terms of even being part of the investment when we're talking about tourism and travel. I want to ask you, when it comes to foreign direct investment, what are some of the issues, the mitigation issues against foreign direct investment in the tourism and hospitality sector in Africa? This is away from the community, away from the local fraternity, now the foreign direct investment.
Well, if you look at foreign direct investment, especially in the tourism industry, you would realize that in probably Southern Africa and Central Africa, they attract quite sizable amount of investment. But if you look at especially the West Africa and the sub-region, you would realize that not much investment is being done. The question is, every investment that you attract, the investor has an interest, and the interest is that I must get return on my investment. Now, as African leaders, we need to package the way we attract investment very well. Why are we attracting the investment in the first place? We are attracting the investment so that our people can get jobs. Our people can also learn from the foreigners that will come with some level of expertise. So what then do we have to do is we need to package our destination. And Abigail talked about destination marketing and destination management. We need to package our destinations very well. We have allowed foreigners to tell our stories. So we have it out there that investing in Africa is risky, it's expensive. But in reality, we also know that anywhere that you want to invest and is risky, there's more returns. In any international investment that has come to Africa, they will tell you that there is more return on investment in Africa than any other continent. What we need to do is to tell our story, to invite people to come to the continent, to tell our own narrative so that people will be attracted to come into the continent. This is the continent with the highest youth population. This is the continent that has one of the highest educated population in the world, but we don't tell our stories. This is a continent that you come and labor is very cheap. So why are we not telling investors to come? And why are we not also having awareness around investment opportunities in Africa? So until we begin to have these opportunities laid out to investors outside, we will not be able to attract investors, because you can only invest in an area that you know. Again, let's look at our academia. What is the area of research? What is their focus? What are they researching in? Are they researching into the opportunities that we have in Africa to publish it so that people can read, investors can read, and also think of investing in Africa? If you look at all the countries that are attracting investment, they are countries that have strong academia researching and publishing their research. So until we begin to do some of these things and let the world know that it is possible to invest in Africa, they will not be attracted. The other thing that we also need to be very careful, and which is recently we have seen Niger, we have seen Burkina Faso, we have seen Gambia, we have seen these places where there is coup d'etats taking place. Whenever there are coup d'etats in one African country, What the world sees, or the investment or investors see, is that it is Africa. They don't isolate the country. So as long as we continue to have these instability, investors will not be interested in investing in Africa. They don't care whether it is Ghana or it's Nigeria, it's Kenya, it's anywhere. As long as it is within one African country, they lump all of us together as Africa, and then they brand it that, oh, investing in Africa is not safe. So we have to look at all these dynamics. When we are able to deal with them, and then we can attract the right investment.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. You've mentioned a lot of realities. I want to just give a case study. For Kenya, I think we got to a place where there was a lot of, like what you're saying, information that's false, and in the tourism sector. And I think as a nation, we've really relied on social media to be able to just market Kenya. And at some point, we would be very proactive and post when we're traveling just within our nation, and change the narrative for someone who is like miles away and is hearing all these things about Kenya, or right now there's demonstrations, you cannot go there even though it's the holidays. And we've used social media to be able to just change that narrative. And I think for us as a nation, it's the one place that if you just try to get the right information, we're slowly getting away with all the false information that has been out there concerning our nation, that has been a limitation even to foreign investment when it comes to tourism. And so I completely agree with you that we are the ones that will have to do a lot and put a lot of things in place for us to be able to attract foreign direct investments, especially in that area. Maybe I could take your closing remarks, Abigail, and then Emmanuel, and then we could call it a session. But thank you so much for all your amazing insights and just getting to share your experiences. Abigail, any closing remarks?
Thank you so much, Tess. It's been quite exciting talking about sustainable investments and commercial value for Africa's travel and tourism. I'd love to add to, in closing, I'd love to add to what Emmanuel said, the things he has said, very vital points that he has made, with regards to transparency, with regards to embracing, destination-centric approach, with regards to embracing best practices. These are things we need to pay attention to. How do we use data to promote our destinations, to make investors get information about the products that are available, what is the destination, if an investor is interested in investing, what are the what are the implementing strategies, and of course, I would love to also link this with the AFCFTA with regards to, for instance, in the hospitality sector. You want to build a hotel, for instance, and you perhaps want to bring in some goods from offshore. You're going to be thinking about tariffs. You're going to be thinking about would there be any bottlenecks with regard to importation, taxes, and all those things. So I think that yes, the AFCFTA is on track, and tourism has to find a way to take advantage of the AFCFTA. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail, for that. I completely agree with you. Emmanuel, what closing remarks do you have for us?
Well, my closing remarks would be that Africans should learn to visit Africa. What I mean is, as a Ghanaian, I should love to visit Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. It's only when Africa visits Africa and we get to know ourselves, then we will see the opportunities within Africa and we can attract investment within ourselves. We should not be thinking more of people coming from outside to invest in Africa. We can actually create wealth within Africa. We can have investment within Africa by Africans and from the diaspora. We should make opportunity for the diaspora to feel comfortable to visit Africa and invest. They have huge sums of money that they have accumulated. They have expertise that they can bring to Africa. But we are not embracing them. We are not allowing them. We are not even allowing Africans within Africa to even invest. For me to travel to Togo by air, I would have to travel to Europe before I come to Togo. Why should that be? For me to travel to Nigeria, for Nigerian to travel to Ghana at the border, it is a hell. So until we begin to remove all these useless boundaries that are not helping Africa and allow Africa to visit Africa and Africans to visit Africa, we will find it difficult to attract people. But if we allow ourselves to visit ourselves and know that we are our brothers, we are our own sisters, and then seek investment within Africa from Africans, I think that is the way forward. We cannot continue to rely on others to come and invest in Africa. Let's start it, and we can do it.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I completely agree with you. And I think that's why we have the theme this year, the future is Africa. Thank you so much, Emmanuel and Abigail, for being here. Experiences, and we've gotten to learn a lot, and we hope that we will get to implement and move this conversation out there. So thank you for being here, guys. We really appreciate. As they say in Kenya, asante sana.
Yes.
All right, guys, we hope that you've been able to learn. You could keep this conversation on social media. Share your highlights. Tell us what you've learned, what stood out for you. And you could tag us as well, Power of Africa Conference on social media, and use that hashtag so that we can get to find out that you wrote about us. Thank you so much for attending this conference. And until we see you again, take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.